Recently, I've had a life-changing event that came about with one single strike of a clock. And on that strike of a clock, I had a revelation. Something huge had happened in my life, something monumental. And that something huge was turning 18. Turning 18 was a milestone I'd been looking forward to for my whole teenage years. Turning 18 was a new chapter in my life, my adult life. Turning 18, or often known as the age of majority, made me available to now legally drink alcohol, get a tattoo, buy fireworks, or even drive an 8-ton lorry if I wanted to. However, turning 18 is not all just fun and games. There are more serious implications that come with it, such as I can now go to adult prison, I can now sue, or dare I say it, be sued. I can now open my own very bank account, and most importantly, I can now vote, at least where I live, in Spain, a European country. However, turning 18 wasn't the monumental event I thought it would be. It happened on a dull Monday school night, as I was sitting in my bedroom thinking to myself, what will actually change? My mind? My body? As the clock struck 12, and I watched the first second slowly tick across my watch, I thought, that was it. I'm now an adult. Just by the tick of 1 second. Just by one tiny heartbeat. This made me question, where does this feeling of adult come from? The next day, for my big birthday, I went to the local grocery shop to make myself feel like an adult. I picked up some alcohol, all excited to finally use my ID to show off my badge of honor in front of my friends. Yet, much to my disappointment, the shopkeeper didn't actually ask for my ID. Bit of an anti-climax. As remember, I wasn't really there to get the alcohol. It was more of asserting the feeling that I've now stepped into the adult world. This made me stop and wonder, where does this feeling of becoming an adult come from, and why hadn't it struck me already? People are so different in this world, with different characteristics, different maturity, and different physical appearances. So why is it that a timeline period of your existence dictates your life so much? How comes an age determines whether you're ready for a certain stage in your life or not? To figure this out, we have to look into the different factors that might have led up to this conclusion, such as culture and history, that have led up to the conclusion of 18 being the adult age in most areas, and not 19 or 17 or any other age. Turning 18 comes with big responsibilities. Losing the entitlement to your parental support, or, as I mentioned earlier, if convicted of a serious enough criminal offense, life in prison, or even the death penalty in some countries. To see more about this, we have to look into different places. Let's take America, for example, a country I would love to live in and study in one day. One country with 50 different states, with different rules. For example, Nebraska and Alabama have the adulthood set at the age of 19, whereas Mississippi has it at the age of 21. And some states grant adulthood after a person passes high school. Which makes me wonder, what is the tick list of being an adult, and why is it altered in certain places? Does it make sense? I mean, a lot of aspects regarding this whole system don't make sense to me. Let's take driving, for example, especially in the US. You're allowed to drive at the age of 16 with a license, yet permitted to drink a whole 5 years later. Now, which one endangers society more? A 16-year-old teen keen to impress his or her friends driving, or an 18-year-old enjoying a beer? Well, it seems obvious, right? Is a 16-year-old really ready to take on such life and death responsibilities, yet permitted to drink a whole 5 years further down the path? Interesting. Young adults in most areas of law are considered adults at the age of 18. Yet research about the brain development suggests that we reach full maturity at the age of 25. One key part to this trajectory is a part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex. It is associated with our emotional maturity, how we assess risk, how we make long-term plans, and how impulsive we are. Fully mature at 25. Yes, 25. Another part of the brain, called the cerebellum, affects our coordination, our ways of thinking. Just as one can be physically clumsy, one can be mentally clumsy. Which brings me to question. Are we really ready to take on such responsibilities like driving, especially in the US at the age of 16, or imprisonment of life, or even the death penalty, if we're still impulsive and emotionally immature? This brings me to the massive point now of having the right to vote. In 1971, in the US, 21 served as the minimum voting age, and thus served as the age of adulthood. This, however, was then lowered to 18, as unrest and many passionate debates about the Vietnam War. I mean, if you can be drafted for war at 18, then surely you must have a say in it, right? And this age has stuck around in most states in the US. However, nowadays, it seems like teens, when turning adult, don't have voting in their minds as much, as historically speaking. However, it is one of the main reasons why the age of adulthood in the US was lowered to 18. Becoming an adult is largely to do with how you fit into today's society. Yet research demonstrates that at the age of 18, we are just not simply ready to take on some of the responsibilities or criteria that is considered the adulthood criteria. In my opinion, if you have to get so many licenses for different things, a gun, a television, or even a dog, then shouldn't there be a tick list, or an exam even, to prove your place in the adult world? To show that you're really ready for this complicated minefield called adulthood. It would certainly give an achievement in the back of the people's minds. This would lead into teens that are turning adults that are full of pride, joy, and confidence. At the end of the day, everyone has their own time to become an adult. It might be 18 for some, and older or younger for others. Thank you.